The mirror in the attic. Lily had always been curious about the attic. Her family had lived in the house for generations, and everyone said it was just a dusty old place filled with junk. But there was something about it that made her uneasy, something no one else seemed to notice. One rainy afternoon, when the house was unusually quiet, Lily found herself standing at the bottom of the creaky wooden stairs leading to the attic. She could hear the soft patter of rain on the roof and feel the chill in the air. Her parents were out, and her little brother was playing at a friend's house. She was alone. "Just a quick look," she whispered to herself, clutching her phone for light. Slowly, she ascended the stairs, the creaking growing louder with each step. When she reached the top, she hesitated before pushing open the heavy door. Dust filled the air, and the room smelled musty, like forgotten memories. Old furniture, boxes, and antiques were scattered around, all cloaked in thick layers of dust. But what immediately drew her attention was an enormous, full-length mirror propped against the far wall. Its glass was cracked in one corner, and its ornate gold frame was covered in cobwebs. Lily's heart raced. She had never seen the mirror before, and something about it made her skin crawl. Yet she couldn't look away. It was as if the mirror was calling her, pulling her closer. She stepped toward it, her phone's light bouncing off the glass. For a moment, her reflection looked normal, just her pale face and wide eyes staring back. But then, out of the corner of her eye, she saw something move behind her in the reflection. She spun around quickly, but there was nothing there. Her breath quickened. "It's just my imagination," she told herself, laughing nervously. But when she looked back at the mirror, her reflection wasn't smiling. Lily froze. Her reflection was standing perfectly still, but it wasn't copying her movements. Instead, it stared at her, eyes wide and unblinking, with a twisted smile creeping across its face. "No way," Lily whispered, stepping back. But her reflection stayed where it was, its smile growing wider and more sinister. And then, to Lily's horror, it took a step forward. She dropped her phone, the light flickering as it hit the floor. The attic was plunged into near darkness, but she could still see the outline of the mirror and the faint gleam of her reflection moving closer, as if it were trying to step out of the glass. Panic surged through her. She turned and ran for the door, her footsteps echoing in the attic. She reached for the handle, but it wouldn't budge. She yanked at it, heart pounding in her chest, but it felt as though something on the other side was holding it shut. Suddenly, she felt cold fingers brush the back of her neck. With a scream, she spun around, but there was no one there. Only the mirror. And now, her reflection was gone. Lily pounded on the door, screaming for help, but her voice seemed to be swallowed by the attic's thick air. Tears welled in her eyes as she looked back toward the mirror. Slowly, she saw her reflection reappear. But it wasn't quite her anymore. It looked older, its eyes darker, as if something else had taken her place. The figure in the mirror raised a hand and beckoned her closer. Against her will, Lily felt herself taking a step forward. And another. She was only inches from the glass now, her heart racing so fast she thought it might burst. Then, the reflection whispered in a voice that sounded just like hers. "You're mine now." The last thing Lily saw before everything went black was her own hand reaching out. Not to touch the mirror, but to pull her inside. When her parents returned home later that evening, they found the attic door wide open. Lily was nowhere to be found. The only clue was the mirror, standing silently in the corner, with a faint, ghostly reflection of a girl, her eyes wide with terror, trapped on the other side. And sometimes, if you listen closely in the attic at night, you can hear her faintly calling for help. But no one ever comes.